It's a brand new year here in Hattiesburg. Glyn Dyar with 247 Sports, Golden Eagle Pride. I'm Dima Mixon with the Pine Belt News. This is our first of a couple of videos, Glenn. We're going to maybe we'll have one in person over a salad at Glory Bound or something. They don't sponsor us yet. I feel like eventually, with how much money we spend there, now I'm just kidding. But yeah, so we're here to do kind of a breakdown of where Southern Miss stands in the transfer portal currently and recruiting because you hear transfer portal a lot, Glenn, but they're also still trying to sign high school players. You know, we
Oh
only
yeah.
had seven in the class in December. That was early National Signing Day, and February is coming up for the official National Signing Day. And you know, talking to Reed Stringer, who's the new general manager over there at Southern Miss football, really seeming like that they want to add more players in that high school class. So we're going to be talking about the transfer portal some, and we're talking about the high school portal. And Glenn, I think this is what people want to hear. They want to hear what players are actually coming to Southern Miss, right? Because it's so hard nowadays, and thankfully, Glenn Dyer with 247 Sports is a friend of the Pine Belt News, and we do collaborations like this all the time. And he kind of gets the inside info, but you know, on some of the other people's sides, especially the fans who just have an everyday Twitter account, Glenn, I mean, it's almost impossible to find. I mean, you got these random Twitter accounts, everybody's tweeting these 18 schools, you know, and then nobody really knows what's going on. And then, you know, they'll say I'm committed, but you don't even know who it is because their username will be like a smiley face emoji and a burrito or something, you know, so you don't
Yeah.
even know who that is.
Trent's baby junior.
It's like you don't know who it is. So we hope that this little session here, we won't go like an hour on this tonight, but I mean, it'll be hopefully a nice little update on what Southern Miss football's been doing the past few weeks, Glenn.
Yeah, I mean, this is a whole new deal. I mean, number one, when this crew hit, Blake Anderson and his guys and the staff is pretty much complete. But I mean, it's a vast undertaking. They're going to need somewhere between 50 and 55 guys as we stand today. Um, that's got to be. It can't just be portal guys. I mean, you got to have to do it through the JUCO ranks, which they're hitting really hard right now. Portal guys, and like you said earlier, they're with the advent of the portal, there are a lot of great high school kids that just get left behind because people don't want to develop kids anymore. They want to go get the developed portal guy and pay him. So um, Coach Stringer and Blake will be able to go and find some really, nice high school gyms here in their footprint in South Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, some in the Florida Panhandle and places like that. So
Yeah,
it's going to
so
be a mishmash of all three of these groups to compile 55 kids.
for sure. So let's recap, Glenn. Obviously, you lost 32 seniors from the roster. You had a whole bunch of players transfer out, and so far, a lot of those have been headed to Memphis following Coach Huff, which was no surprise. And we obviously predicted that standing on the field in New Orleans after the New Orleans Bowl. Chris Jones, of course, one of the Rub Bubble names, he did not go to Memphis, but he's headed to Ole Miss. And you know, when you looked at the starters who started in the New Orleans Bowl, Glenn, all 22 not on this team going into next season. Now, 13 of those were seniors, but the other, I can't do math. What is that? Nine? The other nine players all transferred.
Getting a lot.
So, yeah. So, an obviously incredible situation that Blake Anderson and Reed Stringer and everybody involved over there at Southern Miss is having to tackle here because not only did you lose all those seniors, 32, you lost all your playmakers, all the players who did things for you in 2025. So, you know, this is going to be an incredible next few weeks for this administration because they got to sign some players who are going to be day one starters in a Golden Eagle uniform. And Glenn, that's number one, that's not easy to do, and number two, that's expensive.
Almost all of them. I
Yeah.
mean, back in the day, you recruited to fill immediate need and then backstock for seniors who are leaving to start filling in places for those spots. You're filling immediate need across the board. 22 starters and their backups. This is wild.
Yeah. All right. So let's go through this, Glenn, because I think this is what, you know, people want to hear, you know, what we're talking about here. So from my numbers currently, as we sit here in today's January 6th, so it's Tuesday, so we're about 5 days into the portal. Still another week and a half to go. But also the high school, like we said, goes on into February. So far
And
for
they'll,
Southern
they'll
Miss,
recruit they'll recruit portal guys too all the way into February. When I talked to Coach Stringer, he intimated, I thought, I was thinking 14 days to get 55 players. That's just not, he can't do that. And then he explained to me that Southern has, correct me if I'm wrong, what do you call them, mini semesters, or
Mhm.
they have the first semester and a late semester. They can actually go and hunt and recruit and bring in these portal guys all the way into February when they could actually come in and hit that last mini semester for like 6 to 8 weeks. So there's a bigger window than one would think. They have time to get it done.
Well, that's obviously very important information and I think that will be helpful to the fans. They probably didn't know that. I mean, of course, until I read your article on your website, I didn't know that either. So, all right, so I'm going to run through the players that have signed, Glenn, and you kind of give us a little, not 3 minutes on. We're not going to go like 10 minutes on each player, but give us a little 30-second what you think. So,
Can I
Raymond,
set perspective real quick too?
yeah,
Right now, in terms of what you're seeing coming in, this is just the first week, the preliminaries. I always was told by coaches for years and years, and it's even more so now with the portal. The big dogs are going to eat first.
correct.
The P4s are going to get who they want to get, and then it's a trickle down effect. I think that's why you see Southern Miss going so JUCO heavy right now because they're going ahead and securing these guys now while they can. And later on, as we get further into it, and some of those, more highly rated portal guys who have fallen through the system are looking for places to go. And then the G5s will pick the. I hate to say scraps, but that's what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, but I think we can say that. I mean, it's not, it is what it is. I mean, that's
Yeah,
literally what it is. So, but no, and you're right to say that and point that out before I get into the players. I mean, this is Southern Miss's recruiting strategy right now. Grab the JUCO guys, grab the number one. I think he's second team All-American, one of the offensive linemen that we'll mention on in a minute. Grab the bigger JUCO guys, while the top dogs, like you're saying, are feasting on all of these, you know, $800,000 players basically when we're talking about it, $500,000, $800,000 players because Southern Miss really can't match that, right? So,
yeah,
you're not going to get close to matching that. So you want to, get these JUCO players while you can, get some get a head start on some high school players as well. And then once, like you said, once the Power Four is kind of done, then you go in and say, listen, you might not have gotten a Power Four job, but you're a starter here, right? Like you didn't maybe get this, but you're a starter here. So like you're
yeah,
saying, I think a lot of the players that we've seen so far, now one or two or three of them could be significant pieces for them in 2026.
yeah.
But I
Difference
think
makers.
the
Yeah,
vast majority of the players so far are, to me at least, Glenn, what I've been reading, depth pieces for when they hit those bigger monsters, maybe later this week to next week.
I think it's a mix of potential starters and depth pieces as well. Like you mentioned earlier, the JUCO guys. I mean, you get a two-time JUCO All-American out of Coffeyville. I mean, that's a perennial Jayhawk League contender every year. That's a good pickup for them, and he's got tackle ability as well. Uh, let's see if I can find his name on
Yeah, Casey
here.
John Baptiste is who you're
Yeah,
talking about,
yeah,
offensive
that's
lineman
that's him.
from
Coffeyville.
Coffeyville. And we'll talk about him a little, Glenn, because like you said, two-team, first-team All-American in JUCO League. And, I always hesitate to get really excited about JUCO players, but that's just because sometimes the JUCO players that you pick up like aren't necessarily great in the JUCO level either. But a player who's consistently great at the JUCO level is generally going to be pretty decent at this level of college football.
Yeah, agreed. And that Jayhawk League over in Kansas is maybe the premier JUCO league in the country. They
Yeah.
seem to win the national championship every year. As good as Mississippi is, Hutchinson Community College smoked our Mississippi champion this last year. So it's quality. But yeah, the some of the talk on JUCO guys is a lot of times these guys need that extra year, that red shirt year to really find themselves and develop into that to that the raising competition. But sometimes you hit on those guys and they're fine too. You just don't know till you get them here, man. Get them in your strength program, uh, get them to your training table and get them in, far better shape probably than what they got over there at the JUCO level.
Southern Miss has seven signees so far in this in so far in the transfer portal, and they also have six more commits, so that they're just committed, but they haven't officially put their paperwork in. Let's start, Clint. We already mentioned Casey John Baptiste, one of the signees. Raymond, I don't want to butcher his last name. Raymond Pernays, freshman. He's coming from Navarro College, and he used to be at North Texas. 6'4", 240, seeming like going to play linebacker for them. or somewhere in that area,
D
the front
DN
seven.
type of guy.
DN.
Yeah,
Yeah,
DN outside linebacker type. Yeah,
yeah,
twitchy guy, quick off the football, good length. You love that 6'4". I've seen him listed at 6'5" as well. And he's like you said, a North Texas bounce back. He only played 1 year at Navarro and was all conference. So, that's impressive to me playing that 1 year. And also what's impressive is he'll have 3 years left to play at the next level as well. So that's quality on two licks there.
for sure. So I think decent pickup. Yes.
Yes, I think so. I think he's a guy that could definitely come in and be in your two deep.
Okay. Christian Young from is also another signee. Glenn, what do we know about him?
Emory Henry, I think that's a D2 school. Just just a
Six
big,
seven, three
a
fifty. Sorry to
huge
cut you
human
off.
being. Right. He's got those 3 years there and as a, All-American at that level. The question is, how does it translate here? There are several schools that were, showed interest in him. So, obviously somebody with us, maybe Coach Coughlin, our O-line coach, knew about this guy from years ago. So, because he was one of the first guys they offered and got in here for a visit.
Yeah.
So that wasn't a shot in the dark. He was somebody they were targeting.
Yeah,
So
he's listed as a 3 star, of course, on 247 on your site. So as a transfer, so I think that's three solid pickups when we think of Raymond, Christian Young, Casey John Baptiste so far. So
especially when you consider how much we've struggled at offensive tackle the last 5 years at Southern Miss, just
for
having
sure,
to play guards at tackle spots, just to get by.
yes. The next guy they signed another offensive lineman, Dante Devine, and he's also a junior JUCO transfer from Coffeyville, like Casey John Baptiste was 6'5", 320. Seeming like they're just beefing up this line, Glenn.
Yeah, and he's a guy what I call a swing guy. He can play guard or tackle. Just depends on how he fits into this offense when he gets here. Um, very productive at that level again, and that's like I said, one of the most competitive JUCO leagues in the country. So I feel good about that too. Just solid guys you can get in here and get in a Division I weight room and make them better players than they initially were in within 6 months.
On the other side of the line, they signed Joseph Rounds, and I believe he plays defensive end, Glenn, if you correct me if I'm wrong.
I think Joe is actually a center,
Oh,
true center out of Virginia Union.
oh
Yeah,
wow, totally
he's
wrong
a
on
true
that.
yeah, he's a true center. I thought he was a D line earlier until I went and watched this film. Yeah, he's a true center. He's 6 foot, about 295, just not huge, but extremely athletic. Um, obviously knows how, he's spent 2 years making line calls and just I went back and watched some of his film over and over again. You just first thing you want to see is can the guy get the ball accurately to the quarterback and get set up to take care of what he's got to do, and he's good in that area. He was consistent with his snaps. Quick guy. Once he snaps the ball, he snaps back up into protection. I think he'll be fine for us, and he's very similar in size to Broderick Roman, who we had here this year. He was 6 foot 300, so very similar, to Broderick as far as
I
that's
think
concerned.
Maui was 6 foot, if I remember correctly, as
Yeah,
well.
6 foot, about 292. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there's a chance we could get him back. He could play center or guard for us if we get him
Man,
back.
that would just be huge. They could just get
Yeah,
one because you got Luke Rogers, of course, coming back, who
yeah.
started this
Luke,
season, but
Luke
then
is also a true center.
yeah, so you would have great options there. All right, so of course we've talked about this too, but the skill players for Southern Miss completely gone. I mean they don't have anybody who really did anything as far as scoring the football coming back. They signed this JUCO running back Stephen Robinson of also from Coffeyville, and 5'9", 205. Glenn, what do you know about him?
Yeah, just a little fire plug, man. This was actually a guy that Huff and them were recruiting. He came and visited us at the end of November or early December. So he was the guy that Huff and them had targeted. Great balance, great jump, skip, hop, step, or whatever you want to call it. Able to evade tacklers and some. I'm not gonna say he's a burner, but he's got solid 4.5 speed. He can it'd be faster than the backs we had this year. Not to not to beat those guys up, but they were 3 yards in a cloud of dust for the most part.
Right. Yes, you're right. It'll be, I don't know if you don't think I mean, I doubt it'll start. I would assume Briggs is probably in line to start, right? Would you think that?
Yeah, he is. It just, really depends on his health. He's fought health issues for the last 2 seasons. He gets going and gets dinged up. He's not a big guy. He's not a guy that you need to hand the ball off to 15 to 20 times a
Right.
game. He's a spot guy. So
Elijah Singleton is a wide receiver from East Central that they also have signed East Central Community College. So right down the road, of course. And looks like that is a guy, he caught 321 yards, three touchdowns playing there. So a guy who can be a nice little slot receiver. I would assume that's where they're going to put him.
that's a big get for them. Some of the JUCO coaches I've talked to, and there's actually some JUCO coaches on our board
And I think he
that
was originally committed to Toledo, if I read
yeah.
his lineup.
Well, he was another one that Huff and them had brought in initially that they were recruiting that we managed to, get back in on. The JUCO coaches that were on our board had made mention of him as he was the best wide receiver that they faced this season. He said they had a horrendous offense and he still found ways to catch, 10 and 15 catches a game. He was the only thing they had. So yeah, he can play inside or outside. He's not a huge wide out guy, but 6 foot, 190. He can play either way.
Yeah, I just figured that he would be on the inside since he's a little smaller. But of course, if they don't have
Well,
the
it'll all
size,
depend on who they pick
yeah.
up in
So
terms
I'm
of
about to say if they
size.
don't
Yeah,
have the size of the
exactly.
outside, hey, you're playing outside,
Yeah,
buddy.
he can get out there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
he's a solid pickup. He's a guy I expect to play early for us.
for sure. All right, so that's the seven signees so far that we just ran down right there. Glenn, so far, I would probably give it a solid A for considering the situation they're in right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm calling it a solid B. I mean, because I think there's better to come. I think these are just good, solid starting pieces, and they're
Yeah.
getting the JUCO guys. That's more important right now to me, getting the JUCO guys that they wanted. You pick up, they got one today, a defensive tackle from East Mississippi, I think is really good. And they got a commitment from him today. So they're getting some good, solid JUCO pieces. And Southern Miss has lived off JUCO talent over the last 30 years. So
For sure. So, like you said, that was the players who have signed, but they also have commits. They're just the players that haven't put in their paperwork. Caden Saunders, one of them, Daryl Gross, Braden Warner, Aries Slocum, Talik Partment, and Joshua Johnson, which, by the way, Joshua Johnson, probably the most legendary nickname that I've ever seen personally. Trench Baby. I mean, are you kidding me? Can we
you're
please get
getting
that
that
on a
tattoo, right?
t-shirt? If he's in line to start next season, already know I'm driving the bus for Trench Baby.
What was interesting about him, he was a Nickel State guy. He's about 6'1", 6'2", 320. He's a true nose tackle, takes on double teams, eats double teams.
Yeah.
You say, whoa, big deal. He's at Nickel State. Well, I went back and watched film of him against when they played LSU this year, and he gave those guys fits too. So
Yeah.
he's a man in the middle. If
He's
anything, he's a
not very
situational guy,
big. He's 6 feet, um,
about 320.
320. Okay. Yeah. 300.
Yeah,
I
he's
had
a
that.
fire plug, man. He's made to
Yeah.
stand in the middle and stuff the run. So
Yeah.
if you were looking for stuff to run, short yardage guy, goal line guy when you need him, that was a great pickup right there in that regard.
For sure. And of course, the paperwork isn't in yet for any of these players, but
No,
um, they're obviously, excuse me, they're obviously committed. So that, I mean, that does matter, as we mentioned earlier. So Toby Mealer as well. I don't have him in my list. So
yeah, he's an
sorry.
interesting pickup. Yeah, he's
Glenn's
actually
great for me here because I have this list and then I'm looking at like Twitter and seeing Toby like Southern Miss football tweeting about him and then it's not even on my list. So it tells me
yeah
that.
when Blake was at Utah State, he committed to Utah State. He's from Utah, so he was going to play for
Okay.
Blake. Then things went south for Blake, and they brought in a new regime, and the new regime um, looks like they just cut him loose. Sometimes that happens. So he ends up late trying to find a place and ends up at La Tech. He ends up redshirting there last year. And of course, Blake goes back now and picks him back up. So you got a guy for the next 4 years who's been in a D1 weight room for the last 9 months. That's a solid.
Solid.
He's a guy you never, if you have a true freshman you're expecting to throw in there on the offensive line, you're in really bad trouble. Those guys at least need, generally, unless they're studs, and there's not many of those at the G5 level, those guys need 2 and 3 years in a weight room before
Yeah,
they can really survive in the trenches. So that's a nice piece for developing down the road. He's a big kid, 6'5", about 320. So and obviously Blake liked what he saw several years ago. So it's nice for them to be able to go back and get that kid back on campus.
Yeah, and since Southern Miss football like tweeted that on their main site, like I would assume that means he's signed. So that means they're actually at 8 signees. Um, and
Right.
we've obviously mentioned all the other ones that they have um, tweeted out. They did tweet out Joshua Johnson, so I guess that means he's signed too. So I'm going to move him down into my sign. So that's actually 9 signees. So Joshua Johnson signed.
And
The
this changes hourly.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm telling you, like when I put this up for our show like 30 minutes ago, I'm telling you, I'm looking at it, it's all changed now.
Right.
So, Glenn, have you slept any? Or I know that them over there at Athletic Center hadn't slept any.
I can assure you that Reed Stringer and Blake hadn't slept probably. I don't even, I mean, they were in there on New Year's morning at 7 o'clock.
Right.
They've not slept much.
Yeah, and they're gonna deserve a break over summer or whatever.
I mean,
Whenever they take breaks, do they even take breaks in college football anymore? I don't even know. Maybe like right after spring
every
training.
now and again. Yeah, maybe like after spring football for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah. Okay. So the five other commits, though, unless of them is starts tweeting stuff live on air here. Caden Saunders, Dale Gross, Braden Warner, Ari Slocum, and Talik Partman. Anyone there stand out for you, Glenn?
Just to to clarify, Slocum and Parkman are both high school kids, so they'll be kids big linemen that we'll bring in here, probably red shirt and have in our system to develop down the road. So those were two. We spoke about finding some high school gyms that got left behind because of the portal. Well, those were two that they were eyeballing,
Yeah.
for a while. With Reed being at Louisiana Lafayette, they probably were looking at him over there as well. So those are high school guys. This Caden Saunders kid is interesting. He is a highly recruited kid that ended up signing with Penn State several years ago. Last season we lost for the season to injury. He had a year left. I'm not. He might have had a connection to our new OC Kyle Cephalo. I'm not sure how that happened, but they got him here quickly. He came in here today and actually already committed. So that seems like something that had already been set up maybe weeks or months ago. But he's a solid slot guy at Penn State. It's just a matter of what does he look like after that injury and that
Yeah.
surgery.
Yes, for sure. And I did see that they had offered an Illinois receiver as well. Seemed like to me probably a long shot, but they did offer him as well.
Yeah, they've gotten in on some Illinois kids and some Syracuse kids. I've seen a lot of those pop up, and they'll, as it seems like almost every day we get visits locked in that we can report. So, I mean, on my board, every 24 hours, I'm putting out new visits, and
Yeah.
those are guys are. It's funny now. Recruiting used to be people would come in for 2 and 3 days. They'd be wined and dined, taking all over the campus, hang out with some of the players and party and all this stuff. These are business trips. These kids are not so much about seeing your facilities or anything. They have a number in mind. They're looking to get a paycheck, lock in this year. It's a business trip. They're here for 10 to 16 hours, and boom, they're on to another visit.
Yes.
So these guys are shuttling in and out as fast as from day to day. It's a whole new group,
For sure.
very
Okay.
different.
Well, we hope that that covered a nice little update for y'all, over what they've been doing the past few days. But obviously, like we've both said, we think that this is a good start, but we think there will be some haymakers as far as big names, people who will, be a tremendous part of the 2026 football team in the coming days. And we'll obviously Glenn will bring that to you on his 247 site on
On a
Golden Eagle
daily
Pride
basis.
daily basis over there. And I'll obviously try my best to keep up here at the Pine Belt News, but obviously I've covered a lot more than Southern Miss. So,
Shameless plug. We still have the 50% off annual membership at goldeneaglepride.com. Type in goldeneaglepride.com. It'll take you right to the website. That averages out to be like $5 a month. So,
yeah,
and there's 500 knowledgeable Golden Eagle fans there that talk Southern Miss sports 24/7. And then we throw in some interviews and reports and things of that nature. It's a fun site. So come
yeah.
join us while it's cheap.
Go join Glenn Dyer, Golden Eagle Pride. You can join us here at Pine Belt News. $35 a year. So that's not, I don't, and I can't do math divided that by 12. It's like, I don't know, $2 a month. I mean, what are we doing? If you can't,
Yeah,
if you like to read my horrible writing, you might as well pay $2 a month for it. Glenn, I guess let's give a little prediction, right now. Do you think they're going after a potential QB1, or do you think Liddy is kind of the guy they're going to kind of be like, listen, we're going
no,
to go with him, and we're going to get maybe a backup for him, but Liddy's kind of our guy, and we don't really need to go spend money on a QB1.
no. I mean, you saw last year with having a quarterback that with like Braxton, he can totally change the outcome of a season. He made a very average offense functional and sometimes explosive, and it was him. So, yeah, finding QB1 is the biggest thing, biggest challenge for this group, and I expect them to sign at least two quarterbacks. I've seen where the OC quarterback coach Kyle Cephalo's in on a kid from Duke. There's a really good kid from West Florida that put up crazy numbers that everybody's after. Memphis is after him too. Coach Huff liked him. Um, there's a quarterback from Illinois they're in contact with. I mean, there are going to be some good quarterbacks out there to be had. You're just going to have to be patient.
Yeah. But do you think Liddy is going to compete for the starting job next season?
I mean, yeah, he'll compete for it, but you know, if in a perfect world, they're looking for QB1.
Right.
And that's about as nice as I can put it. No disrespect to Mr. Liddy, but I mean, let's be real. They're looking for the next Braylon Braxton.
Right.
So,
And those quarterbacks, of course, are expensive, as we
I
as we
mean,
well
and
know.
let's be real again too. That was probably Will's biggest downfall is he just could not find QB1.
Yeah. Yeah. And they thought they had one in Tate Rodemaker, and we all saw that went. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, anyways, okay. Oh, that just zoomed me off. There we go. Okay. Well, we hope that that was, a nice little update for y'all. Like Glenn said, go follow him at 247 Sports Golden Eagle Pride. It's a tremendous site. You can get the special deal currently, and you can pay for his salads at Glory Bound. But nah, I'm just kidding. But you can also follow us here at Pine Belt News. Like I said, $35 a year. It's not, you get your paper delivered to you, and all the stuff, high school as well. And we'll have more videos coming out over the next week or two, just because there will be more information. It changes daily, and we'll have it probably next week. We'll get it something out, another update, probably like a weekly
Baseball
update.
practice in 3 weeks.
Yes, and baseball's coming up. We have some exciting things planned for baseball season. We'll continue the show and the videos and all that stuff. We're thinking of names. We're thinking of rebranding this maybe a little bit to make it a little bit more fun for our viewers. But for now, Glenn, thanks for joining me, and as
Pleasure, man.
always,
Thank
and
you.
we appreciate you guys letting us do this collaborative where it's not all about, being rivals with each other. You got to collab and, come together and do good stuff for the fans.
Yeah, I get stuff from you. You get stuff from me, and in the
Yep,
end, the fan and the reader gets a more complete story. So
exactly. If you
robust.
if you saw Glenn and I's text thread, it's normally like, where are we going to eat? And then like after that, it'll be, did you see this? Yes. Is that true? Yes. And then that's just how it works.
And then we hash it out for an hour and a half at a dinner table somewhere.
Correct. All right. Well, for Glenn Dyer, we thank you. Thanks so much for your input, man. And we'll obviously have more updates for y'all later. But for now, that's Glenn Dyer. I'm Dima Mixon. Thanks always for watching, and we will see you next time.